Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and guys, we're knocking on the end of October.
I know. This month seriously went by faster than September, I think. Do you
I agree.
I mean, I know it's not over yet, but it is just like, whew, October's almost done.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. When
where'd it go?
We're recording on Tuesday morning, and this weekend is our band. Danny Shelton and the Bird Dogs are coming to Nostalgia Theater to play after the parade.
Yep.
NAL is sponsoring that band for us. Thank you, NAL. We appreciate that.
It's going to be a fun party. Come in costume. We're going to have prizes.
We're going to give away some cash.
Yep. Cash prizes. Best female costume, male costume, and group. Or couple.
Yeah.
Couple or group.
I can't remember exactly how much they are, but I know we're doing something. So we're looking forward to that. But gosh, I know it's just like you blink. And it's October's gone.
Yeah.
How many times have you watched Halloween Town?
0. I know, isn't that sad? I usually watch it. I usually start watching it in September. I haven't had time. I seriously have not hardly been home.
You have been.
I have been very busy and working a lot, and on doing a few trips and volleyball games, and the whole month is just poof.
Yeah.
I haven't sat down in front of the TV.
Well, I've watched Hocus Pocus 3 times.
Okay.
So I'm happy. And I'll watch it a couple more times before it's over. And I'll continue watching a little bit in November.
Yeah.
But guess what's been advertised?
The Hallmark Christmas movies. I know. They had like 40 new ones this year or something insane. I'm like, how do they even make that many? I mean,
it's the same story, just a different.
I know, but I don't care.
I watch for the visual.
I know, because their costuming, A+.
Oh,
their sets, A+. The houses they choose to film at, A+. So I follow this Facebook page about old houses because, we have this obsession. And this lady posted last week, and she posted this gorgeous home, Victorian, like great big porch. It was in northern New York near Albany. And she said that she had been approached by Hallmark. They want to use her home to film a movie, and
totally do it.
Even want to use her own furniture and decor because probably it's awesome because the whole house looked like perfection. And then she started talking about wondering if anyone else with old homes had ever been approached by them and how it turned out and if it was worthwhile. And they're paying her big bucks to use it. Let me tell you.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I'd do it in a minute, yeah.
I'd be like, pay me the money. You need a cup of coffee?
Because the thing about it is, they're going to send people, if like you got one little piece of paint, they're going to fix everything, and they're going to pay you to do it.
Yep.
And probably pay you to stay in a hotel somewhere.
Yeah.
Totally.
Sign me up.
Sign me up too, man.
Anyway, it was a beautiful home, and I kind of have it. I tried to save that picture of it in my mind, so maybe one day I'll see it.
Have I seen it? Have you sent that to me?
No, but I can try to find it and send it to you.
Because you watch that on Facebook or something?
Yeah.
What is it called? Because
not that one. There's several I follow.
I'm on For the Love of Old Homes.
Yeah, it's not that one.
It's not that one.
I don't know. I'll have to look. But it's a good Facebook page to follow.
I'm wondering, we record on Wabash Catch TV. You think Wabash would fly us to New York and do an interview with these people, bring it back for By the Way with Beth and Stacey?
I don't know. We'll ask them.
Is that in the budget?
Because there's several houses in Maine we need to go see too.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. I mean, we're just bringing it back to Clay County, guys.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Awesome. And we still have that beautiful Victorian house in Fairfield.
Yes, I want to talk about that one.
Yeah, because they were on vacation, and I sent him a message to say I haven't heard back from him yet, so I'll probably do that. We haven't done any houses. We're gonna have to go knocking on some doors.
Yeah,
we've been pretty
busy.
It's been we're having a hard time just finding time knocking on doors.
Yep.
So what else is going on? Homecoming is over.
Homecoming's over. Football season's wrapping up. Senior night is this week, I think.
That homecoming parade was amazing.
It was really good this year.
I like them. Okay, so the homecoming parade usually is kind of like directly after school. It used to be like around 4 o'clock, 4:30. Well, everybody's still working. This time they had it, at 7?
Yeah, but they've been having it in the evening for probably 20 years. Where you been?
No, they haven't.
Yeah.
Because I've been downtown watching them because I've always been working the whole time.
I don't think they've done an afternoon one since I was in school.
Oh, no, they used to do it all the time. No, I'm
okay.
No, I'm positive because
they've had the evening one at least as long as like Malia was a freshman.
Well, it's just been. I don't think
so. That's at least like 6 years.
I don't think it's ever been at 7:30 at night. It's never been that late before now. This is the first time it's ever been at 7:30. It's usually directly after school. Like they let kids out and then they go, and so it'd be around 4:30.
I know that for the past 5 or 6 years, First Christian Church meets and then with youth group on Wednesday nights, and then they walk them.
We did that 2 years or last year. We did that, and it was awful. I hated that.
I know, but that
was awful.
But
so I think they're getting a little bit later and later.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I remember telling myself, of course, how long have I been at 3 years at the other place? Because I remember being at the old salon and being thinking, why are we doing this so early? It's because like one time I judged it, so it was like about 4 o'clock and I was busy. I went outside and judged them as they went by, and then went back in and finished working. It was early.
You sure you weren't working late that night?
No.
Huh. Okay.
No, it was weird. It was weird because I always thought that was odd, and it's like you'd probably get more people.
Well, right, because I only I can remember it in the afternoon when I was young, but then now I just the whole time Malia was in school, it was in the evening, and then we walked and went straight to the bonfire games.
Yeah.
Or I drove. She walked.
It's probably just been the last few years because I never did understand why it was early.
Yeah, well, it worked out really good this year.
It was amazing. And then you got more people downtown.
Yeah, and then everybody went to the game. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people went to the games afterward. The bleachers were full.
Yeah, the parents all go.
It was good.
Yeah, those were fun. I remember those tug of wars and stuff. Those were always fun. Battle of the classes.
Yep. And then the bonfire after that, and it was a beautiful evening. It was great.
Now, when in the 80s, we our bonfire was our floats. We burned our floats.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning that. That seems kind of
after they were judged.
Dangerous, I guess. I could just see all these kids just grabbing handfuls and throwing it in.
I'm surprised. I mean, but it was the 80s.
Yeah, nobody cared. If you got burned, it was like,
we're Gen X, We're the ones that
we're survivors.
Really we're survivors.
Neglected survivors. Just deal with it.
Yeah, but we tear down the floats and stuff, and then some of the stuff off the floats we throw in and make the bonfire. I can't even remember. Because, of course, the football field's completely set up different. Because, right there where you come in on the west side now, we used to enter right there.
Yeah.
And none of those buildings were there. And then that's where we're of course, the track was not as big. And, yeah. And
it's pretty nice out there these days.
I think we have a great football field. I think we have a beautiful football field. I think we have a beautiful football field, and I think we have one of the prettiest gymnasiums. Flora High School does. I love that.
Yes. But I do want to give a shout out to whoever's in charge of the gymnasium at Flora High School. I wish they'd put some rails up along the steps up to the top.
Yeah, that's
handrails.
That's one thing that I would change.
We're lacking handrails. It's a real problem.
Yeah, and because I'll walk I'll either go up on the the north side or the south or whichever side I'm looking at. I've lost my direction when I'm going into the building. North, south, east and west. It's we need handrails going up there because I go all way one just to do the handrails.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I won't sit very close to the top because there's no handrails.
Yeah, no, I won't either. I do think it's kind of a dangerous because most of them will split that. And you got those aisles. There's no reason why you couldn't have handrails up there.
Yeah, I agree.
Aisle.
Now that I've been in this past volleyball season, I've been in a lot of gymnasiums that I hadn't prior been in, and they all have handrails.
Yeah. Up that middle, you have to. You have to do that. And I don't know if any other ones I think we got that weird that one step comes out a little bit.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful not to trip.
I know.
Yeah, I never did even when I was younger, I never did understand the weirdness of
yeah.
It's why is that got to be out? Because you'll step over that.
Yeah.
It's shocking to me that somebody has not fallen down.
Well, they probably have, and we just don't know it.
I don't know, man. If you take a tumble down that, boy, I think that would be bad.
Yeah. I'm very careful when I'm up there because I'm terrified I'm going to fall.
Me too. I'm afraid of a fall. The older I get, I'm afraid of a fall anyway. I fell several years ago leaving one of the depot shows in Building C, carrying boxes. I was walking to my car. Those big. I was in my convertible at the time, so it's been several years, and so it doesn't take up that whole. So those concrete blocks that you come up to, or whatever. I tripped over that thing. Just didn't even see it. Just boom. Stuff went. I was carrying a box of stuff. That, and then the next day, literally that was Saturday night, about probably 11:30 at night. Then the next day, got up to get ready to go to church, thought I'd water some flowers because, it's that time of year. And watering flowers. And Sassy, my little Shih Tzu, had to go outside. And so she was out there running around. I laid the whole day, but it was a little bit wet. My back concrete
You fell
slid.
again?
That next day, I went in because there's 2 steps getting to the house. I stepped up 1 step, put Sassy in. And when I came to step down, my foot hit that pavement and I fell off that bottom step 2 times in one night. Yeah. And so I'm terrified. A fall.
Yeah.
Terrified.
I'm a fall risk. My kids know it. So
it's
when they
fast, but slow motion.
I know. That's how it always happens with me too. It's like you just like. Whoa.
But it happens so fast. But it's fast, slow motion. I can't.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I am terrified of a fall.
Yeah. That's. Yeah. I'm a faller. I don't have good balance.
I am too.
So.
I don't have good balance either.
Yeah.
And I'm a feet shuffler. Jim's always like, pick up your feet. Okay, so we got an ad today. Now I'm wondering. So I got my Look magazine in.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
Good.
I got 2 of them.
Okay.
One's JFK and then one's talking about Israel, which these are both of the 60s.
Okay.
So this ad is from the 60s. Okay. This is have you ever seen this one? It is called New Rose Lotion Veil for Dishes.
Veil. As in
Veil.
Velvet. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but look at the bubbles. It says, try new rose lotion veil for your dishes and feel rose petal softness for your hands.
Nice.
Here's the thing. You know why I picked this?
Why?
Because I think this smells like everybody's grandmother's bathroom with the rose smelling soaps. I can smell this photo.
Yeah. I can imagine what it would smell like too. And back in the 60s and 70s, even the early 80s, everyone was obsessed about dishpan hands. Like, it was a real problem. They must have solved that problem because, nobody talks about dishpan hands anymore.
Well, it says, just feel this new rose lotion veil formula. There's a new softness, rose petal softness in every drop. Yet it speeds through stubborn grease in seconds. Don't you wish your hands could be rose petal soft? Simple. Tonight, switch to new rose lotion veil. Never seen it, never heard of it. Nope. But I can smell that photo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very interesting,
very
right?
pretty ad, too.
It is pretty. It's got the dishes in there. Of course, those dishes do not look dirty. And then the rose. I don't know. I thought it was a really pretty ad, but I basically picked it because I could smell that photo. But we got an interesting show today.
We do.
I'm interested to hear about it. I don't know a lot about this person we're going to talk about, but I know a little bit. But we're going to take a commercial break, and then Beth is going to lead us in a conversation about Jesse James.
Ooh. We'll be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We have a good show planned today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's kind of funny how I landed on learning about this guy. I'm going to talk about Jesse James, the outlaw. Everyone's heard the name. Everyone kind of knows a little bit about him. But I found
make you famous. Remember what's the movie with all the Young Guns?
Young Guns, yeah.
I love that movie. That's an 80s thing, guys. That's the Brat Pack.
Yeah. They were all so cute.
They were all, Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
So cute.
So anyway, I found myself at Jesse James's grave. this week.
Yeah, how did you? What
He's
were you
buried
doing?
in Kearney, Missouri. Okay, so I had a work trip to Missouri this past week. The company I work for is based in Hamilton, Missouri. Hamilton's a very small town, about the size of Clay City. And they don't have a hotel, obviously. So they do have a lot of Airbnbs, but we try to save those for our customers. The company is Missouri Star Quilt Company. And so any employees that come into town to work are put up at a Holiday Inn Express that's in Kearney. Kearney is about 35 to 40 minutes away from Hamilton. Mm-hmm. So it'd kind of be like driving from Clay City to Effingham to stay in a hotel. And so even though I wasn't working in Kearney, I was staying in Kearney. And this is probably the 5th or 6th time I've stayed at this hotel, because every time I go in to work there at the company, that's where I stay. But I was reading some of the nearby signs about Jesse James. That's where he was born. And they actually is where he was born, and it is where he is buried. And it was...
How big is Kearney?
Kearney's like maybe the size of Effingham.
Okay, so is it just like Jesse James crazy? Do they really
market
that?
No, they really don't so much. And the thing about Kearney, I need to explore it a little bit more, but like it's kind of an interstate town where just I'm right there by the interstate and everything's right there, and I don't really go deep into their I haven't seen a downtown or anything. I don't know. But it is an old town, and Jesse James there's a museum there that is based out of his house. That was his house he was raised in, the farm, the childhood farm. Okay. And I would have really liked to have went and visited that. Maybe one day I will, but they close at 4 p.m. and they open at like 9 or something. Well, I work from like 8 to 5 when I'm there. So I didn't have time to go to the museum while they were open, but I did have time to go to the cemetery. And there was this very small cemetery, and it was kind of weird because it had it wasn't an easy one to drive through because it was just like a dead end road. You had to back up.
So it wasn't large. Oh, okay.
And anyway, there was a sign there, and I'll show you pictures in a minute. But I found his grave and went and visited with Jesse Woodson James.
What's his middle name?
Woodson, like Woodson. Mm-hmm. Woodson. So he was born on September the 5th of 1847, and he died on April the 3rd of 1882. He was an outlaw, a bank and train robber, a guerrilla, as in like guerrilla warfare, and leader of the James Younger gang. Okay, so this whole area that he was raised in, apparently they call that Little Dixie area of Missouri. I didn't know that, but they call it that because this is kind of important to the story, because most of the people that settled in that part of Missouri were from the South.
Okay.
He is of the age to be fighting in the Civil War. Mm-hmm. He's in an area where all of the people basically that settled there are from the South. So he was a Southern sympathizer, and he was a Confederate soldier. Did you know that?
I did not know. I did not know he was a Confederate soldier.
He actually, I don't know that I would even call him a soldier. He was what's known as a bushwhacker, which is kind of like a militia. He was like I don't know that he was really in the actual real deal Confederate Army.
He was just like to fight, probably.
Yes, and kill. He was mean and evil, and
Jesse James really was mean.
He was a mean guy. He wasn't a good guy.
He didn't just rob, and
he didn't just rob. Although it's kind of similar to some of the other stories we've talked about, like when we talked about the doctor down south that people still loved him. Yeah. We talked about Charlie Berger down south. He was a bad guy, killed all these people, but all the other people that if you didn't know him, you would think he was a great guy. It was kind of like that with Jesse James. A lot of people kind of have him painted as like a Robin Hood
kind of.
Mm-hmm. But it's been proven that he
was mean.
It's never been proven that he gave any of the money that he stole to anybody else.
Okay.
But kind of in legend, they're like, well, he gave to the poor. He stole all that money because he gave it to the poor. And it's
that's just not true.
I don't think that's true. Okay. So he joined the pro-Confederate guerrillas that was known as the Bushwhackers, and they operated in Missouri and Kansas, and that's what he did during the Civil War. And I personally wonder if being a bushwhacker is what screwed him up in the head so bad. Is he was really young, And he started following these two guys named William Quantrill and Bloody Bill Anderson. And they were accused of committing atrocities against Union soldiers and civilian abolitionists, including the Centralia Massacre in 1864. So you hear Centralia, you think Illinois, but it was Centralia, Missouri. It was a horrible ordeal where there was people that were just innocent bystanders, and they were killed. The general of this Union army group that was there surrendered, thinking they would take him and spare all of his men. No, they shot and killed, mutilated, and scalped all of these men, Union men, and any bystander that was standing there.
When you think about this, the Civil War was a terrible, bloody battle. I don't think people realize, I think we're so lukewarm to war.
Yeah.
And it would be hard for a sane, normal person. But if you're a little off, like Jesse, it would just take you to the dark side real quick.
Yeah. Here he is, this very young man, and he gets kind of thrown. He has an older brother named Frank. Frank's kind of running with this bad group and pulls Jesse in. And the next thing you know, they're scalping people. They're mutilating bodies and shooting people. And he's just this 16-year-old kid that's thrown in. Now, I think that would screw you up in the head. Does that give him a free pass that he needed to go on and do everything he did? No. But I think that there
is a little psychological to it. Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know any of that about him.
Yeah. So let me see if I have any further information on that. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, a little bit about his family is that he had a mom and his dad. His dad died when he was only 3 years old, so he also grew up without a dad. His dad was actually a Baptist preacher.
Really?
Yeah, and he left to go to California because it was during the gold rush. He went out there to minister and be a preacher to all these people that were doing the gold rush, expecting to return. He just went out there just to minister to them for a while, and then he was coming back. But while he was out there, he died. And then his mom's name was, this is interesting, Zerelda. 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 I've never heard that name before. But when I started reading this article and doing some digging into his life, I'm like, but Zerelda wasn't his mom. Zerelda was his wife. Because when you see his gravestone, he's buried with Zerelda, his wife. Now, what are the odds that there would be two Zereldas? Really pretty good, I guess, because he married his first cousin, Zerelda, who was named after his mother,
Get out of town.
Zerelda, because his wife's mother was Zerelda's sister. Okay?
Wow.
Bet you didn't know that. Was that in Young Guns? I don't think so.
That was not Young Guns. No, it was not Young Guns. Young Guns, you got it wrong. You're kidding me.
No. I told you it was interesting.
Oh my
So yeah,
gosh.
because let's look at a couple pictures, Ty.
Yeah. Let's do
Let's do that one. Okay.
Let me see this.
So this is where he's buried. It was just, this is a flat tombstone. There wasn't anything huge there.
Wow.
So Jesse and Zerelda. Okay.
I love that his says assassinated.
Assassinated. Yeah.
Wow.
April 3rd, 1882. Now, this is his second resting place because originally he was buried at his farm, and there is a big stone there. They left the big stone there, but I'll get to that part in a little bit, but at some point they moved him into the town cemetery in town, Kearney. I don't know why.
Well,
I don't know if they didn't want people coming to the farm to see him, or if Zerelda wanted to be buried in town, so they moved Jesse next to her.
When did she die?
1900.
Yeah. So she made another, but she was young too.
Yeah.
I mean, she only lived 18 more years. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Is there another picture from the cemetery? Yeah. So this one is there too. This is his like stone that they put up for veterans. You know what I mean? It has that symbol. Taylor's SQ, Todd's Company, Quantrell's Regiment, CSA, September. So those were his dates.
Well, he would have had to then been in the actual military then, right?
Well, I don't know.
I wonder what that symbol up on top is.
I don't know. Ty, I don't know if you can Google that symbol.
Interesting. And who's throwing the flowers just down?
Okay, so
who's decorating Jesse James?
Did you get the picture of the top of the grave too? Yeah, here we go. So this is
my God.
This is the top. He's got a penny and he's got is that a nickel and then a big pretty rock somebody left in a playing card hand. It looks like maybe a full house.
A full house.
You
know, I'm surprised it's not just got stuff everywhere where people are leaving.
This cemetery is right smack dab in town. I imagine it looked very well cared for, although it wasn't huge. It wasn't tiny, but it wasn't huge. I imagine somebody goes and clears it off every so many days or something.
I would,
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. So, let's see.
Let's go back to now. He's after
so after the war.
Yeah, let's go back. He's in the war. He's becoming demented.
Mm-hmm.
He's losing his mind.
Yeah.
He's killing and scalping people for fun now.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened?
Okay, so after the Civil War, Missouri was still divided. They were still split into opposing sides, and there were the ones against slavery and the ones that were for it. And basically, the ones that were anti-slavery were identified with the Republican Party, and then the others were identified with the Democratic Party.
Shocker.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to burst bubble.
Yeah. So the Republican-dominated, they had legislation that was like reconstructing the laws or whatever, and it passed a state constitution that freed all of Missouri's slaves. And it also temporarily excluded former Confederates from voting, serving on juries, becoming corporate officers, or preaching from church pulpits. Okay, so if you had been known as a Confederate, you no longer had the right to vote in Missouri. You were done for a while. But there was armed gangs of veterans on both sides of the war that were still fighting.
Hey, we have to take a commercial break.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank. We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online bank, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be. Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we're talking about Jesse James.
So much
Outlaw.
I didn't know. I thought I knew a little bit. I don't know nothing.
Yeah, he's got quite the history. I mean, we all knew that he did. We just didn't all know he married his cousin and that he was in the Civil War.
What was it like when you're Jesse, when you go through the Merrimack Cavern or whatever, Jesse James's hideout? We did that. I mean, when we did our Route 66. I just had no idea he was even in the Civil War. And then I didn't know he married his first cousin.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Right. Well, as this, I forgot to mention, as the Civil War was finishing up, he did get hit. He got shot in the chest with a shotgun.
Oh, really?
He had a serious chest wound, and he recovered. He stayed at his uncle's boarding house in Harlem, Missouri, to recover from that. And then that is where he was tended to by his first cousin, Zerelda.
Okay.
They called her Z.
Was that normal
Mims.
back in the 1800s to marry your first cousin?
I don't know.
I would think not.
I think some did. Some married cousins,
First
but I never
cousin
thought
is
it was
pretty
first.
close.
Yeah.
That's like closest cousins you can get.
Yeah, she was named after his mother. They had
Weird.
Jesse and Z had a 9-year courtship that culminated in their marriage.
Interesting.
Meanwhile, his former commander of the Bushwhacker gang was still out there, and they kept the gang together and began to harass Republican authorities.
Ooh.
So they're still getting into trouble, even though the war is done.
They do not like those Republicans.
Yes, and so it was this group, this Bushwhacker leftover gang from the Civil War, that they believe were the culprits in the first daylight armed bank robbery in the United States during peacetime. And that was the robbery of the Clay County, because this is Clay County, Missouri, Clay County Savings Association in the town of Liberty, Missouri, which I visited last year. Liberty is about 20 minutes, I think, from Kearney. Not far. It's all in the same area. And there's a very nice bank there. It still sits there. You can go in. They have a little bit of a museum. And that is supposed to be in the first daylight armed bank robbery, and that Jesse James was there. But there are people that dispute that, and they said that he couldn't have been. He wasn't recovered from his shotgun wound to the chest yet.
Would that
so
be
they don't
the
think
brother and the people that he was running
totally
with?
could have been the brother, and it still could have been Jesse involved. The sad thing is there was a 17-year-old boy outside on the sidewalk named George C., and they called him Jolly Wymore. And he was a student at the William Jewell College, and he was shot dead on the street. But let's take a look at Jesse here. Got a photo of this young man.
Jesse James is a very nice looking man.
Yeah. Look at him. Look at
those
very
cheekbones.
dapper.
He almost looks like he's got a little Cherokee or something.
Yeah, his hair's neatly combed, cut, trimmed. I mean, he's very clean cut, but he's got just the right amount of like 2024 scruff on his chin. I mean, this guy could change his shirt and walk into 2024 and look like
absolutely
anybody else. I don't know. But I think that there's something in his eyes. Like if you stare at this photo, like he's dead behind the eyes. Like you can look at, you can see somebody's eyes, and not every time, but a lot of times you can tell if they're a good person. Like if there's some evil back there, I don't know. That maybe it's just me. Maybe I have a gift for that. Yeah. But I say Jesse James's eyes are dead. I think
I think when you do with the things that he did, it's yeah. I'll tell you, he is very handsome.
He was very handsome. So, this gang continued to rob banks over the next 2 years. But their numbers started to dwindle because they got arrested, or they were in gunfights, or they were lynched. Okay, so this was all happening. Most of their targets were small local banks. They didn't try to go for any great big ones, but excuse me, in the meantime, they killed anybody that got in the way.
That's what I was getting ready to say. They just, people that in the way, they didn't go looking to kill people like a serial killer would, but if you were there and you talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
They robbed a bank in Richmond, Missouri, where they killed the mayor and 2 other people.
Well, that's not very nice.
Yep, and then there was somebody there that recognized them, but they didn't come forward and tell anybody until 7 years later that they were 100% sure it was Jesse and Frank James.
Really?
I think they probably felt like they would be in danger.
Probably.
Okay, so it was around
around
1868 that Frank and Jesse James joined up with a guy named Cole Younger, and they robbed a bank together in Russellville, Kentucky. Now, they ended up forming the James Younger gang. So this Cole Younger, he was his own little outlaw.
So Jesse James never had a real job.
No.
He never had he went right from a young boy, Civil War, soldier, killing, right into bank robbery. He never did have a job.
Nope.
Interesting.
Nope. he got into all kinds of bank robbery situations. Almost got shot different times. There was only one known civil case against Jesse James, Frank and Jesse James, and that was in 1870. This guy named Daniel Smoot sued them both for $223.50 to replace a horse, a saddle, and a bridle that they stole as they fled the robbery of the Daviess County Savings Bank.
That guy had a set on.
Yeah, he did. He's like, you owe me for the horse.
A horse and a saddle, buddy. Did he win?
Yes. So the brothers denied the charges. They said they were never. I was never in Daviess County. I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't me. Wasn't me. And but because Frank and Jesse have failed to appear in court against the charge, Smoot automatically won his case against them. But they don't know that he ever paid him. I mean, he might have won the case, but he probably never got the money.
Well, if it's like it is today, you'd have to sue Jesse James 3 or 4 times. You have to pay the court cost.
Yep.
And then maybe you'll still get your money at the end, and they may not make you pay anyway.
So Jesse James was the most famous survivor of the bushwhackers that came to be.
I understand the term bush. I never did understand it because there was a wrestler called the Bushwhacker. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's like, that's weird.
Yeah, that wrestler shouldn't have adopted that name.
Yeah.
So Jesse made friends with this guy named John Newman Edwards. He was the editor and the founder of the Kansas City Times, the newspaper in Kansas City, Missouri. So let me just tell you that Kearney is about 10 minutes from Kansas City. And when you're staying in Kearney, if you go down the right road, you can see the skyline of Kansas City. Okay, that's how close this is to Kansas City. So he made friends with Edwards, the newspaper guy. Edwards himself was a former Confederate cavalryman, and he wanted to run his paper to be Confederate-minded and kind of set the political tone. And so between him and Jesse James, they were constantly running down the Republicans in the newspaper and expressing pride in the Confederate loyalties and letters to the editor, defying Reconstruction. They didn't want Missouri reconstructed. So, yeah.
That's where it all started, wasn't it?
Yep, that's where the problems with the media started. We'll blame it on that.
Started in the after the Civil War.
Okay, so then the next thing up was this James Younger gang. Okay, this is when the bank robberies really got a little bit just constant, and they were robbing banks, and then they decided to turn to train robbery. Hey, there's a lot of money on trains.
There you go.
Let's do the train robberies. On July the 21st of 1873, they robbed the Rock Island Line train near Adair, Iowa, and they got $3,000 off that train. That would be equal to $76,000 today.
Ooh, really?
These guys were real.
Wow,
raking it in.
Big time.
Yeah, they were mean and evil, but smart about where the money was, because they had always previously been doing these little hometown banks where they got some money, but not $76,000.
And if you think about, and the train's completely vulnerable.
Yeah,
I mean,
when they robbed that first train, they wore Ku Klux Klan masks.
Well, they were Democrats. So.
Yeah, well, they were definitely Southern sympathizers.
They were Southern sympathizers.
That was the first one. The later train robberies had a lighter touch. The gang held up passengers only twice, choosing in all other incidents to take only the contents of the express safe in the baggage car.
Maybe that's where everybody thinks that they were so nice.
Yeah, and it was his friend, John Edwards, at the newspaper who made sure to highlight such techniques when creating an image of James and portrayed him as a kind of Robin Hood.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
That's where it started.
So Jesse and Z married on April the 24th of 1874, and they had 2 children who survived to adulthood. They had Jesse Edward James. That little boy was born in 1875. And then they had Mary Susan James, and she was born in 1879. Then they had twins named Gould and Montgomery James, but they died in infancy.
They both did?
Yeah.
Oh.
So Jesse James Jr. became a lawyer who practiced in Kansas City, Missouri, and Los Angeles, California. So his only surviving son became an attorney.
An attorney. Wonder what kind of attorney.
Yeah.
Was he a prosecutor or was he a defense lawyer?
I don't know.
And so there's a lineage. I'm assuming the Jesse James lineage is still going strong.
Uh-huh.
What happened to the daughter?
I do not know. She got married. I know that.
Nobody cares?
No, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Okay. I care. I just don't know. Okay. So people are starting to get a little tired of this behavior and these robberies.
Now we're getting
finally. I mean, this has been going on for like 10 years. Okay. So the Adams Express Company turned to the Pinkerton National Detective Agency to stop the James Younger gang. This was a Chicago-based agency, and they worked against urban professional criminals. They also provided industrial security. So I think these guys were fighting like mobs, gangs, all of it. I'm surprised they survived any of it, honestly. I think that would be like the most dangerous job in the world at that time. Because the gang received support by many former Confederate soldiers in Missouri, they eluded the Pinkertons. So they were hard to track down. But there was an agent named Joseph Witcher, which he was dispatched to infiltrate Zerelda Samuel's farm. Okay. Zerelda Samuel was Jesse James's mom. That Zerelda. Okay. So they sent this detective agency, these agents, to her farm to infiltrate, take over. I don't know, but they all died. They were killed. The agents were killed. 2 other agents were sent, and they were killed in a roadside gunfight. So, and then there was also a deputy sheriff that was killed. So they were sending people in, but they were just bang, 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 taken down. So Alan Pinkerton, the agency's founder and leader, took on the case as a personal vendetta. He began to work with former Unionists who lived near the James family farm. And on the night of January the 25th, 1875, he staged a raid on the homestead. They threw an incendiary device into the house, I guess a bomb, basically, and it exploded. And it killed James's young half-brother, Archie. And it blew off one of Zerelda Samuel's arms.
Oh, my gosh.
Blew his mother's arm off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take it.
And then they burnt the house down. And then they burnt the house down. We'll tell you the rest of the story.
We'll tell you. We'll end the story. And after this commercial break, we'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Give me all your lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today's episode is about Jesse James, the outlaw, and the cousin marrying crazy Confederate soldier.
My mind is blown. I had no idea about any of this stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the downfall of the gang, okay? It's all starting to end.
It's all going to come to an end.
In 1876, they robbed a bank in Northfield, Minnesota. The robbery was quick, but it went wrong. And after it was over the robbery, only Frank and Jesse James remained alive and free. Basically, all of the others were killed. What happened is they started to rob the bank, and they divided into two groups. 3 men entered the bank. 2 of them guarded the door outside, and 3 of them remained near a bridge across an adjacent square. The robbers inside the bank were thwarted when an acting cashier named Joseph Lee Haywood refused to open the safe, falsely claiming that it was secured by a time lock, even as they held a Bowie knife to his throat and cracked his skull with a pistol butt. He was stubborn. He refused. He knew he could open it, and he still refused, and they ended up killing him. But
wow.
So another cashier was wounded in the shoulder as he ran out the back door. But this is the great part. The citizens of Northfield, Minnesota, stepped in. They were suspicious. They're like, why are these men guarding the door at the bank? What's going on? So they stepped in. So 5 bandits outside that were citizens fired into the air to clear the streets, drove the townspeople away to take cover, and they began to fire back from protected positions. So they shot 2 of the men inside dead, wounded the rest. The outlaws tried to flee. One was shot. One of the robbers ended up shooting that Haywood, the guy that refused to open it, shot him in the head, killed him. But anyway, they barely escaped Northfield. So the only people that did was the James brothers. They managed to get out. Then later they kind of surfaced in Nashville, Tennessee for a little bit, but they really couldn't settle down. Frank tried to be good for a while. That didn't work out. They started robbing trains again, so that's probably where all the money was. I don't know if his wife was following him around through all this.
Where were the
She's
children?
Not mentioned. I have a feeling.
I bet he left him at home.
I have a feeling her and the children were at home on that farm because the farm.
Because sooner or later, you're robbing banks all the time. Sooner or later, that gets back. If I'm a citizen, I'm going, quit robbing it. Why should you get my free money? Why should you get money for free and not work for it?
The family isn't mentioned again until about 1881, and it said the brothers returned to Missouri where they felt safer, and James moved his family to St. Joseph, Missouri, and not far from where he'd been born and reared. So St. Joseph is right there, right close to Kearney. And then Frank decided to settle in Virginia and give up crime.
Oh, he did. He gave it up, huh? So
Frank, I don't think he really did, but I think he did for a while. Okay, so the gang is nearly annihilated. They're almost all gone. And the only 2 people that Jesse James trusted were these 2 guys called the Ford brothers, Charlie and Robert. They called him Bob. Okay, so Charlie had been on lots of raids with James, so he was a good guy. But his brother, Bob, he was new. Okay, so for protection, Jesse James asked these Ford brothers to move in with him and his family. James had stayed before with their sister, and according to rumor, he was smitten with her. So he might have been having an affair with these guys' sister, the Ford brothers' sisters. But anyway, the James brothers moved in. But what was going on at that time is that there was a bounty on the head of Jesse James and Frank James, a large reward. Railroads had put up like a $5,000 bounty on each of them, plus an additional $5,000 for the conviction of either of them.
Wow.
So it was hard to trust anybody because everybody could have used that money. So basically what happened is this Bob turned on him and shot him in his home in the back while he hung a picture in the house. I guess Jesse's at home. He's hanging a picture up in the house and noticed there was like a dusty picture. He stood on a chair to clean it. Robert Ford drew his weapon and shot the unarmed Jesse James in the back of the head.
Really? See, I didn't know how Jesse James had died.
He had had 2 previous bullet wounds and a partially missing middle finger, which set to positively identify the body. Let's look at the other pictures I sent.
Wow.
Oh, this is another one from the grave. So that's just the sign. If you're ever in Kearney, Missouri, this cemetery is real easy to find right there on the main drag, and It's very clearly marked where he's buried.
That's right.
Okay, let's see what else. Okay, so this is the farmstead. Okay, this is this I didn't go to, but this is also a museum, and you can see the stone in the yard. So that stone is where he was originally buried before they moved him. So that was the footstone, and the family placed there. And this is what James's mother, Zerelda Samuel, wrote. The epitaph on the stone says, "In loving memory of my beloved son, murdered by a traitor and coward whose name is not worthy to appear here."
You know, I'm going to have to agree with her, even though he was a scumbag.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty, that guy,
yep,
that was pretty cowardly.
Yep, shot him in the back.
Shot him in the back while he was hanging a picture.
Uh-huh.
That I didn't realize that's how Jess, that kind of makes me mad.
Yep.
I thought it was in a shootout or something fun.
Yeah.
He was getting, but that guy was I agree with his mom. That was cowardly.
Uh-huh.
That was bad.
So the guy that shot him, they received a small portion of the award, the reward, but not the majority of the bounty. The Ford brothers were starring in a touring stage shows in which they reenacted the shooting. They were going around making money, showing people how they shot and killed Jesse James.
Wow.
And Charlie Ford, the older one, he ended up committing suicide. But Bob Ford operated a saloon in Colorado for a while. And then Edward O'Kelly, I think that was that the newspaper guy?
Yes.
That was another guy from the gang. He went to Colorado with a loaded double-barrel shotgun, entered the saloon that Ford owned, and said, "Hello, Bob," before
he killed
shooting him. He went and got
he got revenge. He revenged.
Yep.
He avenged.
But then that guy got sentenced to life in prison, but they ended up dropping it because he had a petition with over 7,000 signatures in favor of his release. So he got out of jail. But anyway, I thought it was interesting what his mom put on the stone.
I agree with her.
Was there any other pictures? We don't need to show that one. That one I was actually only going to show to Stacey, but it was a picture of me in the cemetery at dawn. And it's funny that I was there at dawn. That sounds kind of crazy, but the sunrise is like 7:15 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's still dark at 7. I was on my way to work, and I'm like, I only have a minute to pull in there. And it was like still dark when I got there, and I was kind of like creeping through the cemetery. But by the time I got to his grave, there was light. Yeah. So anyway, a little creepy.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that he died that. I didn't realize he died that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then he kind of just went on to become, portrayed everywhere and like kind of go down in history as this heroic outlaw image.
Not a good guy.
That's a lot of times in the movies he's like portrayed heroic.
He definitely is.
He's not really.
And in Young Guns, I don't think he was shot in the back by a friend.
Yeah, no.
It was. That's why you never can trust anything like that.
Nope. So anyway, very interesting story. I know it's not local to Clay County, Illinois,
but it's very neat, though.
Local to Clay County, Missouri.
Well, we've been venturing out.
We have been venturing out, and I think it's important to talk about things that I or you happen upon.
Oh yeah, that was kind of fun. Who knew?
Who knew I was going to end up in a cemetery where Jesse James was buried? Yeah. I didn't plan it when I went there. That's for sure.
Well, my Paula Cooper Edwards and Angela Martin, we are meeting up the second weekend in November, and we are going to Hermann, Missouri, and it's the sausage capital of Missouri.
Sausage? Yeah. No kidding.
That's what Angela told. I'm going for the wineries, but Angela said, "Did you know it's the sausage capital?"
Wow, interesting.
Missouri?
Well, maybe
so who knows what I'll come back with. From that
maybe you'll have some stories about a sausage baron.
I probably will.
Hermann, Missouri has a bunch of pretty old houses, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
you
very
have to take some pictures of those.
Oh, definitely. So I'll do it when I come back. I'll do an episode on my weekend.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
How are we going to end our show?
We always end it with, we used to end it with words to live by. Now we try and do something funny. So this is Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. What do you have?
When Rick told me he was having trouble with his wife, I had to laugh. Not because of what he said, but because of a joke I thought of. I told him the joke, But he didn't laugh very much. Some friend he is.
Oh, geez.
I love Jack Handy.
I like Jack Handy,
He's
too.
so crazy.
He is crazy, for sure. Oh, my. Some friend he is. He didn't even laugh at my joke.
I know you're having trouble with your wife and you're on the edge of divorce, but I told you a joke, you didn't laugh. How rude.
Rude.
How rude are you? Beth, tell everybody where they can find us.
As always, we are on Channel 100, Catch TV, daily at 11 a.m. and again at 3 p.m. And we're also on YouTube. So if you've missed any of our episodes on Wabash or you want to look up something we talked about in the past, they're all there. You can find us on By the Way with Beth and Stacey is our YouTube page name. So if you just type that into the search box, we will come up and you can find all of the episodes. You can also follow us on Facebook, like us and follow us there. It's By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Or if you want to email us, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, story ideas, whatever.
You want us to show us your house?
Yeah, you have a great house.
You got a cool house.
Mm-hmm.
We will come.
Or if you have an interesting family history.
Yeah, let us know.
I know there's a couple that show ideas that have been mentioned, and I have those on the back burner, but some of those ideas I haven't been able to find much info on, so I don't know. But anyway, our email address is, by the way, with Beth and Stacey at gmail.com. So that is how you can find us.
You can find us. We're not very far.
Nope, we're around.
It's a fun show. We like doing it. We have a good time.
Yep. So,
and I think that's it for today, babe.
That is it. It went by fast, but thank you all so much for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
God bless you, and have a great day.